Good morning, everyone. This is Julie McDonald with Microcom Technologies, and I'd like to thank all of you for attending today's webinar with NETGEAR. Today's host is our very good friend, Cooper. He is NETGEAR's key strategic account manager, and he'll be presenting today. Well, please remember, if anyone has any questions, please submit them in the question box so that Jordan can answer them at the end of today's presentation. Jordan, again, thank you so much for being with us. I am finished for now, so please go ahead and take it on over.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Julia. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Thanks for being here today. You know, I've done quite a few of these and I decided to mix it up a little bit. Normally I talk about the history of NETGEAR, but we're going to dive right into it because there's a lot to cover with this great and awesome Orbi that we're going to be talking about. You know, whether you're a seasoned network installer, a managed service provider, or even just a trusted reseller, you know that staying ahead of the industry means offering solutions that not only are powerful and reliable, but are easy to use and future ready. You know, and so today I'm really excited to be introducing you guys to a product that checks all of those boxes and more, really. This is our NETGEAR Orbi RBE773-100 NAS. It's part of the new Orbi 770 series. Now, while the Orbi itself and the Orbi RBE773 is positioned as like a premium home Wi-Fi solution, let's not overlook its potentials in, you know, the business applications, and especially in that small SOHO, it fits perfectly. You know, you think about the modern office needs, especially a small office, you know, you've got maybe a dozen of connected devices. You know, you may have like high bandwidth applications like video conferencing and cloud backups and VoIP. You know, need for maybe a good strong security and easy management too. That's a big kicker. And of course, reliable coverage across maybe multiple rooms or floors. And the RBE 773 really delivers on all of those fronts. So as we let's talk about what really is the RBE 773. You know, this naming scheme does have a rhyme and reason to it, but let's start with the basics. So the RBE 773 is a tri-band mesh Wi-Fi 7 system. So it consists of one router and two satellites, and it's built on the IEEE 802.11be standard, also known as Wi-Fi 7, which brings massive improvements in all things networking, including speed, efficiency, and device handling. You know, I previously did a presentation with Microcom about the amazing things Wi-Fi 7 brings. So if you wanted to know more about that Wi-Fi 7 and what makes that unique and different, go check it out on their YouTube channel. But this system, this Wi-Fi mesh system here, this is engineered to support whole home and business coverage up to 8,000 square feet. That's not just marketing either. That's real world performance that eliminates a lot of dead zones and ensures like seamless roaming. You know, and for installers, for you installers out there, this means fewer support calls. You know, MSPs, it means happier clients. And, you know, for the resellers out there, it's a compelling value proposition. Let's talk numbers. The Wi-Fi 7 is really killer here, and I just love seeing these numbers. It's crazy, just really baffles my mind of how high the performance is on this. But we're talking about 11 gigs of combined or aggregate total Wi-Fi throughput. You're going to get 6 Wi-Fi streams across three bands. Going to be on the 2.4, the 5, and the 6. And there's a 2.5 gig port on every unit, the router and the satellites. We'll talk about more of that here in a second. But so this is a system, guys, that can easily handle 4K and 8K streaming. You know, low latency gaming, or, you know, virtual reality starting to become a lot of things in a lot of businesses that they're encompassing, and remote work, you know, all at the same time across dozens of devices. And, you know, the great things with Wi-Fi 7 is a multi-link operation. You know, it can use all 3 bands for client traffic and backhaul. And so again, if you're not familiar with that term multi-link operation, go check out that Wi-Fi 7 video, because that is a really cool and awesome feature that Wi-Fi 7 brings. Now, but yeah, having that multi-link operation ensures a stronger and faster connection between the router and satellites, basically. So the technical specs that matter, let's talk about that. Under the hood, as I like to say, the RBE773 is powered by a quad-core 1.5 gigahertz processor with 4 gigs of flash and 2 gigabytes of RAM. And guys, that's a pretty great horsepower in like a consumer-friendly package. It really beefs it up. And so again, yeah, each package is going to include one 2.5 gig WAN port. So we're talking now multi-gig WAN port, and 3 2.5 gig LAN ports. And each satellite will have 2.5 gig LAN ports. So this makes it ideal for multi-gig internet plans through your ISP or a wired backhaul if you've got everything all wired, a multi-gig switch, or even connecting, like a high-speed NAS or media server, right? Things like that. Having multi-gig is really coming into play now. And guys, even in my house, there is AT&T offers our fiber internet, and that's up to 5 gigs per second. So we are definitely in the realm of now being in multi-gig and more of speed. So definitely great there. Let's see here. Let's talk about some really kind of things that matter to the security or management. Security, guys, is the top concern for every client, and rightfully so. And there's been lots of crazy things going on with the hackers, and there's always attempts. But guys, the Orbi RBE773 really making sure that there's great security. It gets kind of into the nitty gritty here, and I'm not going to get too deep in the weeds, honestly. And I kind of pulled a lot of these specs just from the the data sheet here. But just know that it supports the latest in security encryption like WPA3 for threat protection. It does have, again, it's heavily marketed towards the home user, but these parental controls are more of just like for like your standard content filtering. That's would be a great use case for it, for whether that's home or business. And guys, this comes with the Orbi app, for you guys out there who are going to be managing this or putting this. The Orbi app offers a centralized control, basically a remote management quick setup with the Orbi app. So whether you're managing one site or dozens, it's intuitive and efficient. One thing that makes the Orbi different than our other products too, as well as like our Insight products, is the Orbi has a single login for one location. So if you're going to be managing multiple of these, you'll just have a location or a login information for each location. Whereas our Insight will have a multi-location, multi-tenancy capability. But again, just two different ways to skin the cat, if you will. Now let's talk about some real world use cases, right? So we kind of just talked about what it can really do, but really, guys, the 4K and the 8K streaming, that's such a common thing to have happen. This is from the page where, guys, there's so many different devices connecting to the network. Never before has there been more devices connecting to a network, both in home and business, right? I mean, gosh, yeah, you look at this picture here and it just, this is a real life situation. I feel like a lot of this stuff is mine. I've got a smart toaster now, which is crazy to think that my toaster's smart. Don't ask me why I have it, but maybe because of the coolness of it, what it looks like it can do. Oh, my toast is done, great. But a lot of people are gonna have the smart TVs. Smart fridges are really coming and being integrated. Smart ovens too. So more devices are being connected to it, and then people who game or people who again, and offices are also putting in a lot. Trying to entice people to bring people back from the home office to work in to the main office now, bring them back to work. They're offering things like, we've seen a lot of increase in games and basically fun things to do at the office, and so this would be a great case. And then again, being able to remote work, right? That's still very much a heavy thing. The hybrid is now the thing, being hybrid, working some days in office and some days at home, and this is a great source, being able to making sure you've got strong, reliable for working from home. Now here's where the Orbi really shines, right? So it's going to be 4.3 times faster than traditional Wi-Fi 6 systems. You get 30% more coverage. You've got this 6 gigahertz band, right, for cleaner, interference-free signal, and this enhanced backhaul with that with that multi-link operation, being able to combine all the bands into one really is a game changer. So it's not, guys, it's not just a step forward, it's a leap. It's a big jump. So, you know, in closing, to wrap it up here, the NETGEAR Orbi is more than just a mesh system, right? It's a future-proof investment in terms of speed, coverage, security, reliability. You know, for installers, again, it's easy to deploy, easy to configure. You know, even for if an MSP, it's a platform that you can manage and monitor remotely. And it's a product that really just sells itself. You know, this is a product too that is not just this is not your $100, $200 router or Wi-Fi mesh system. This is something that's going to really increase the performance of the network, whether it's in a home or an office. So, let's give your clients or if your customers the network they deserve, give you the tools to grow your business and to have them buy from you and use you. This is a great tool. For the first time ever too, Microcom does have access and has these. I think they even have a couple in stock. Last time I checked, they've got a great price point on these. So that's even the more benefit of the doubt too, is you can find it cheaper there than just about anywhere else. So with that, I'm about done, Julie. If you want to, I'll take the baton and toss it back to you. And if there's some questions out there in the chat, let's go ahead and open them up.
Terrific. Thank you so much, Jordan. I do have some questions for sure. Let's get started with the first one. Here we have first question, Jordan. Let's see. For the Orbi, the coverage is listed up to 8,000 feet. Can you tell us what factors influence that range?
Ooh, that's a great question. And that's one thing that I love that NETGEAR does is when we calculate the square coverage, we're not just putting it in optimal conditions. We're not doing like what car manufacturers with miles per gallon. This car can get 40 miles to the gallon, but what they don't tell you is that's, going 30 miles an hour downhill with wind help pushing you. Not the case here. So we test our products in real office standard environment, stuff like, your typical office environment that's going to have sheetrock walls and, wood doors and your a common office environment. Obviously, if things are more in the open, you can get better coverage. If it's more of a big auditorium or something like that, you can get far more superior, or church, you can get better coverage. And then likewise, if you're in an area, maybe you're in a very, very old building and there's a lot of brick, stone, or metal or concrete, those kind of things really hamper Wi-Fi no matter what. And so that can obviously make it significantly less than the 8,000 square feet. But the 8,000 square feet is based upon real life parameters, based upon your typical standard office environment that would be built, within the last 20 years or so using standard normal material. But great question.
Great. Thank you so much. Next one here for you. How well does it handle mixed environments, such as if you've got Wi-Fi 5, 6, and 7 devices together? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, another great question. So that's kind of that's about like Wi-Fi 7, and Wi-Fi 7, guys, is backwards compatible to work with Wi-Fi 6 and Wi-Fi 5 devices. And so, some people will think, oh, well, if I have, I don't need Wi-Fi 7 because I have all my devices are Wi-Fi 5, and therefore I'm not going to see a performance in really the Wi-Fi 7. While it's true that you're not going to see as great of a performance if you had Wi-Fi 7, there still will be some performance upgrades. The best way that I was told, and I like to use this analogy, is think of Wi-Fi 7 as like a Formula One racetrack, right? These racetracks are so incredibly smooth, and there's not a single bump or pothole, and think of like your Wi-Fi 5 in terms of today as like a back dirt road, country road. So while you may be taking your car on the road, you may think, oh, well, my car, I'm only going to go so fast, but your car is going to do a lot better on a smooth surface road than it would anywhere else. And so Wi-Fi 5 devices will still see the benefit of the devices. And again, seeing that, especially with having that multi-link operation, is going to be really beneficial.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jordan. Next question here. Can Orbi detect smart home patterns, such as distinguishing which devices are streaming versus gaming?
Yeah, so not to my knowledge, no, we don't go into that granular of what the devices are actually, that are connected to the router, what they're actually doing or utilizing. It can see the devices that are connected to it, but as far as what they are doing, no, it just knows what devices are connected to it. You can name, or you can go and name a specific device, and it'll give you the MAC address or the serial number, but it will tell you what what that is, and then you can go in and update that saying this is the gaming Xbox, or this is a phone or something like that. But the Orbit itself will not, essentially will tell you.
Thank you so much for that. I've got an AI question here for you. Is there a roadmap for other AI-based security features, such as intrusion sourcing or anomaly detection?
On this Orbi, no, it is not. But NETGEAR is definitely, there are some great things, and NETGEAR is definitely coming in with some awesome AI based stuff that's going to be coming down the pipe. So at this time, no, this doesn't really have any AI applications, but stay tuned and be on the lookout that's being developed.
Okay, terrific. That's great. Next question here. With Wi-Fi 8 on the horizon, is there any ongoing R&D we can hear about from NETGEAR?
Sorry, you kind of cut out there. One more time, can you repeat that?
Sure, absolutely. With Wi-Fi 8 on the horizon, is there any ongoing or new research and development we can hear about from NETGEAR at this time?
Not at this time, no. It's crazy to even think that Wi-Fi 7 is in develop or Wi-Fi 8 is in development right now. But right now, we're just living in the stage of Wi-Fi 7.
Got it. Right, Wi-Fi 7 is still like
So
new.
new.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Just to double check with you, Jordan, can anyone go to your website and get customer service, tech support, look at the details of your products? I'm guessing yes, but I wanted you to touch on that for us.
Yeah, great. Another great comment there. So absolutely, of course, all of our specs and all the information can be found on our website. Another great thing is when you buy the products and when you buy them to like Microcom, you're going to get 90 days of free tech support, being able to chat, and if you run into issues getting it set up, or getting it any troubleshooting issues that you may run into, you've got 90 days free, 100% free tech support. And then if you need more, if you want to have the option to have more tech support, you can. But yeah, you can go to our website and see all the specs and get all the details that you want about the product, and just make sure you're ordering it through Microcom, as they're the one who's probably going to have the best price.
Excellent. That's what we like to hear. Thank you so much, Jordan, for answering all those questions for us. And thank you to everyone for attending. And if anyone does have any further questions, you can always contact your sales rep, or you can email us at sales@microcomtech.com. And if you wish to view any of the products mentioned or shown, please remember that this webinar presentation has been recorded and will be uploaded to our Microcom YouTube channel so we can all view it again, which I know a lot of people love to do that. Jordan, thank you so much for your time and sharing this with us today. We greatly appreciate it. And until next time, which there will be a next time in the not too distant future, we will do this again.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
Thank you, Jordan. Bye-bye.